Friends, of late I've been getting some queries on childbirth, but these queries are some specific kinds, though I've done some videos on childbirth before, at least 2 I remember. Now the queries which I've been getting last 4 or 5 days are mostly based on some kind of a fear that they have, especially if they got the child birth after some time, okay, with some hurdles or some delays. So now there is a nagging concern. Now these concerns are also of medical nature, as well as some astrologers, they you know how things are, sometimes people get over fatalistic and sometimes people get over reassuring when things are not so reassuring in the chart from astrological perspective. So I wish to take a chart of a famous person. All right, I will tell who is he. As you can see, the year of birth is pretty old. So this chart has you know, the contradictions, and how do we resolve the contradictions, and this by and large applies to other significations of life as well, not just childbirth. However, today's discussion will focus around childbirth. So without wasting much time, let's straight away jump into this. This is 28th August 1949, as you can see, 1749, beg your pardon. We are so used to saying 19 and 20. 12:17 in the noon, Frankfurt, Germany. This is chart of Johann Wolfgang Goethe. You know, von Goethe. He is one of the, if you didn't know, is one of the best German literary geniuses of this time, right, in the modern history. So I am not going to talk about his literature and writing in this video, all right, maybe some other day, I'm not sure when, but today we'll talk about his progeny. Now this person is a literary genius. That means his 5th house, apart from Mercury, okay, this is the house of creativity. This house has to be good. As you can see, there is moon out there, right? So this chart, it represents some kind of a contradiction here, okay, by itself. Okay, someone who has a strong 5th house, but the childbirth is is an issue. Not the birth, but the survival of the kids. The survival of the kids is an issue in this person's life, was an issue in this person's life. He had, out of 4 children, only 1 surviving. 4, they lost their lives at an early age. Quite tragic, very tragic. So how do we reconcile these differences? The same goes true for example, 9th house, which represents the guru and the father. Now, if there is an affliction, who, that is guru or father, who gets afflicted? The affliction is in what domain of life? Any affliction in the 4th house. Well, is it about the mother? Is it about the property? Is it about the mental peace, the education, vehicles, whatever, the luxuries in life? What is it that is taking a hit if there is an affliction? That is what we will study in today's chart, and this can be generalized to other domains in life, not just childbirth. So let's see the childbirth, that is 5th house, and the relevant planets and the houses with that. So you can see the 5th lord, that is, this is Aquarius, Saturn is exalted in Libra, right? So lord is strong. As we say, we should see 3 things in every house, right? The lord of the house, I mean, how well it is placed, how strong it is. The significator of the house, that is Jupiter, it's in Pisces own sign. So 2 things go strong, and then we see the house itself, and there's a natural benefic out there, right? This is a strong moon. This person was born around new moon, right? I mean, it's 7th house from sun, so 1 day or 2 days before, after the new moon, the Purnima, right? The full moon, the Purnima, right? So moon is strong, right? This person has a strong moon. This person has a strong significator of 5th house. This person has a strong, that is exalted, lord of the 5th house, yet this tragedy. Why? Why? See, the benefit of this strength he got in his career, right? His career is mostly fifth house driven. Mostly, for literature, you expect the moon, Mercury, and Venus to contribute. Despite his Venus being in sign of debilitation, its Lord Mercury is in 11th house in the sign of Leo, where Sun is present. So unless Mercury is very, very close to Sun, okay, this is a strong position for Mercury, because its Lord is aspecting and conjunct Mercury, right? So all the ingredients for a good fifth house driven career are there. I'm not getting into the career analysis in this horoscope. In this video, I've done enough of that, right? Fifth house Venus and Mercury are in mutual exchange on that 511, mutual aspect on this 511 axis, right? So all those ingredients are there. The fifth house Lord is strong, fifth house significator overall is strong, okay, though for literature I'm not counting that. Jupiter is aspecting 10th house, so all that is there, right? So I'm not talking about that more than this. So it did help. The strength of Saturn and Jupiter and the fact that a planet like Moon is placed in fifth house, they all helped him in different ways. But why they drastically failed for progeny, for even giving a normal progeny? So look, the strength of these two planets, they did not stop the childbirth. It did happen, right? Jupiter is retro. It's away from Sun, so it must be retro. Okay, let us confirm that with this date of birth. It must be retro. So a strong Jupiter in own sign, right? A strong Lord, a good benefic planet. Okay, a strong strong moon is definitely a benefic. Okay, natural benefic. I am not even looking at its 10th Lord shape and all those kind of concepts here. Okay, so the basics of fifth house are good, but why he faced such a large tragedy? The reason is very simple. When we look at childbirth, okay, you look at all the houses, all the factors, all right, but don't miss out on the one of the basic houses that classics have time and again mentioned. Similarly, the fifth from Moon, everything should be seen. Okay, this house, there's a problem here, right? So we are missing out on the basic information here, and that is, who will see the fifth from Jupiter? The relevant house from the Karaka planet has to be seen, because when you see any house, usually you will not have a perfect situation. There will be some positive factors, there will be some negative factors. Now, how do you delineate? For example, some affliction on 9th house, whether it is impacting the father, the luck, the belief system, the guru, what is it that is being impacted negatively and what is it that's being impacted positively? How do you delineate between the significations of the same house? That answer is given, friends, when we look at the relevant house from the natural Karaka, that is the natural significator. So for if I'm looking at 9th house, okay, then father versus guru, I will see 9th from Sun, is that afflicted? Or 9th from Jupiter, is that also afflicted? So any affliction, it tells me the answer. Similarly, for childbirth, I will look at 5th from Jupiter. Now 5th from Jupiter is this house. Strong career, we all know that Jupiter is aspecting this and all that. Okay, 2, 6, 10, Jupiter in that trine. Okay, out of the box, it's good situation for money and career. Okay, so that is fine. But look at this Mars. Mars is not only aspecting Jupiter by its full 4th aspect, 1, 2, 3, 4, the significator, the human being, the individual, the person represented by Jupiter. That means his child or all the children, because Jupiter is de facto all the children, okay, all the kids. Jupiter is being afflicted by Mars, which is conjunct Rahu. which is conjunct Rahu, and they are placed in Jupiter's sign that itself is a heavy load on Jupiter, alright, dispositor. Jupiter is their dispositor. That's not all. Now the fifth from Jupiter, this house is the very sensitive house for progeny, as I just mentioned, right, because it is fifth from Jupiter. Mars is afflicting that house also by its eighth aspect. So it does show the fatalities. If someone who is looking at the childbirth, just a general question is asked that how's the childbirth, and any astrologer is missing out on studying fifth from Jupiter is not going to get this. Now I don't want into those discussion that you have the divisions, the Vargas or the KP astrologers would say see the sublord and all. Everything is fine. Okay, see the Navamsha, see the sublords, whatever system you follow, okay. But if you cannot catch it from the main chart, you are just a sham, not an astrologer. Alright. The Bhagya and everything, it shows its colors in different flavors in every degree. What every degree? Every half degree is one Shashtyamsha, right? Okay, 1/5 of one Dwadashamsha, that's D12. So every Varga is going to tell you the deeper story, alright. But you have to be able to catch it from this D1 chart. That's what an astrologer is expected to do. If you can't see it there, you're trying to see it from Vargas, you are no good. You got to go to the basics. So in fifth from Jupiter will tell you the real story of the childbirth and the sustainability of that domain of life. Means how will they turn out to be? Well, will they be healthy? Will they do reasonably well in their lives? Will they survive? So in this case the answer is in negation. This is heavily afflicted house. Now don't forget this Rahu is conjunct Mars is conjunct Rahu. Wherever Jupiter is aspecting, these guys are influencing that. Again, basics of Jyotish. So I'm not getting into that. I'm just looking at the aspect of Mars on both Jupiter and the relevant house from childbirth. Remember, this is not hitting the other significations of Jupiter. That means it's a significator of second house and 11th house of money and stuff like that, right? Wealth. His wealth is fine. Because second from Jupiter, this is the house of wealth. But Jupiter is aspecting the second house, right? It's very good for wealth. Mars is itself lord of this house. So it did not touch the wealth part of Jupiter. You see how the same planet, that's Mars, is showing its different preferences or priorities in the same chart. Positive versus negative, right? So there is no planet that can be called entirely bad or entirely good. Every planet has good and bad sides of it, right? So this is the critical information. Now, how will this person's experience with progeny be? Experience means, you think that in the mind, which you see from the moon. If some facts will happen, that obviously will be felt in the conscious mind by the native, which is why we see the relevant house from Chandra, that is moon. From ascendant, we saw the facts, right? Facts are not good for the childbirth, okay, for overall the well-being of the child or children. And fifth house from moon has Ketu. Ketu is like Mars. It can also kill. Saturn delays. Generally it won't kill. It may create kill-like situations, but it doesn't kill. It doesn't fire the shot. Firing the shot happens from Mars or Ketu. Rahu can bring lot of sudden changes, sudden shock. It can drive people to kill themselves. Okay, all those things can happen. But Mars and Ketu are the ones that kill outright. They go out and kill. Okay, so Mars is showing this. Fifth from moon, Ketu, it's showing some real shocking, possibly shocking experience. Okay, because fifth from moon. If we see the Vargas, we'll see the details, alright? Not getting into that now. But if human beings are killed, it's not just one child. it's you know I mean second, third, I don't exactly remember the order. Only one survived. Now the second child will be 7th house, right? Third child will be this house, right? That's how you see, right? The younger child from the elder one, elder, second, third, right? You go 3 3 like this. Out of 5, 4 survived. So now father is also in the same trine, right? I mean the father, I mean this is father. Now this person's siblings also, only one sibling I think survived, and all the other siblings, they were killed. I think only one sister survived and all of them were killed. So it does reinforce, okay, his sibling, then next one, next one, next one. So same houses are afflicted, and the same houses, you know, the time repeated itself. So he lost his younger siblings and the same houses are showing. So he lost his you know, kids also. Now if you lose so many siblings, obviously the affliction is too heavy. So those details we get to see from the Vargas, but this definitely gives you very strong hints and evidence that there is something wrong. And go and check the 10th lord, you know, Saturn, the planet placed out there, Moon and Jupiter, which is the significator of 5th house. Go check them in the Vargas, how they are placed, and they're the Varga lords, that sign lords of you know, let's say Jupiter is placed in sign X, so that sign X lord, how's that planet placed here? So all these things will tell you more stories. So this session was not meant for those details here, okay? I can't accommodate everything in one video, but I'm sure I have given you an excellent clue of checking the sign, relevant sign from the Karaka, that is significator. Studying childbirth, if you are missing on 5th from Jupiter, you are not catching the story. Studying moon, mother, 4th from moon. If 4th house is afflicted, okay, then you got to see 4th from moon, relationship with mother, okay, and the moon itself. So here we check Jupiter itself and 5th from Jupiter, because this house was not telling the story. He did have progeny, right? 5 kids, you can't say he had less progeny. He had kids. The problem was their, you know, survival, which this chart indicates strongly some fatalistic tendencies. So that's about it, friends. There are many things in this chart which perhaps I can answer in the comments. So if you have more questions, not only in progeny, you can ask me other things, okay? But let's focus on progeny in this you know, video. So thank you for your time, friends.